So you bought the Brand Tuning handheld, you'd like to install it on your motorcycle. First, let's verify the contents of the package. You have the Brand Tuning handheld itself. There should be a sheet here with an actual address on where to download the software. We don't actually need this. I'm going to show you a different way to download the software. Get that out of there. And you're going to have what connects to the actual motorcycle itself, this cable. Now this cable will look the same going into the handheld, but may differ depending on your motorcycle on this end. And we'll go over that later. And you also have a way, this is a USB connector, to connect it to your computer. Now that we have these three things, we can go on to the computer. Go ahead and connect this to a USB port, but do not connect it to the handheld just yet. We're going to download the software next. Now that you're on your Windows-based desktop, what you want to do is go to the Brand Tuning website, go to Resources, and go down and select your motorcycle. You can see we have a long list of motorcycles. Today we're working on a BMW 2020 RR, so we're going to be clicking on the BMW S1000 2020 RR, and then clicking on the download software. Now this software is about 64 megabytes, as you can see right there, which means it's going to take maybe a couple minutes to download depending on your connection speed. I've already downloaded it. So what we're going to do is go to the MyGenius client setup here, double click that so we can get it going. All right, there it is. Now we're going to let it install. English for me. Makes sense. It's going to load it right now and install it. Now it's installing. Successfully installed. And yes, we're going to run it right now. Let's go ahead and get that up and going. Minimize some of the windows here. New updates are present. Let's go ahead and proceed with the update on it. We're going to have to agree. If you want to read it, go ahead and read it. Right now we're just updating the actual software itself, not the handheld yet, but just the software. I'll wait for this process to wrap up here. Update is now complete. Now that you have the software downloaded and updated, while the software is open on the computer, meaning you have the MyGenius box open on the computer, you're going to want to go ahead and connect your handheld down to the computer. You hear it click in. There you go. And you see this in the menu, USB connection activated or communication activated. Now we're going to go back to the computer. Now that we're back on the computer here, what you'll do is you click update again. When you're going to update here, you're going to unclick the update MyGenius software because we've already done that, and you're just going to want to update the MyGenius device itself. Click OK. And again, you'll go through that you've understood the terms. You can read it if you'd like. Accept. Now I'll wait for it to go ahead and download. Now, if you do this process over and over again for updating, you only have to do it once. Don't do it again. If you do it again, it's going to pull the same exact update over and over and over again. So just make sure you update it once. That's all that's needed. So we're just doing some updating now. Rebooting the device. Just let it go through its thing. There's nothing you have to do here. Once the update is completed, you'll click OK. Now it's initializing communication. Okay, and now we're ready to go to the motorcycle. Now that you're at your motorcycle, what you're going to want to do is plug the cable into the top of the MyGenius handheld, and it actually screws in to kind of latch it in there. There is this little cable at the top here. You don't have to worry about this, just kind of leave that be. The other end of the cable will connect to your motorcycle. Now on this motorcycle in particular, this is a 2020 S1000 RR, so it's going to have an OBD2 port you plug right into, and it actually feeds power to the handheld through this cable. Now, if it was another bike, let's say an Aprilia, this cable would actually have two clips for positive and negative terminals in the battery because it does not have it on the diagnostic port on the Aprilia. So you have to connect it to the battery to make sure this gets power. So now that this has got power, we're gonna go to the menu here. Now that we're there on the menu, we're gonna navigate with using these panel right here. So up, down, left, right, select and cancel. So select is obviously going into it. So we're gonna select for work, BMW. This is a S series, S1000R of course, select. And we're gonna go ahead and click on, you see there's a lot of S1000Rs in here. So we're gonna go ahead and go to S1000RR. If you click the wrong model, it's not gonna be the end of the world. What's gonna happen is it's gonna make you go ahead and go back through this menu and select a different bike. So we're gonna say okay. Now we're gonna say okay, switch it on. And you're just keying it on, not switching the bike on. Now it's communicating. Now we're gonna switch it off. Click OK. Yeah. Switch it back on again. Click OK. Switch the password off again. Click OK. There we go. Protocol identity, flash, whatever that is. And we're gonna click OK. Saving it. Now we're gonna ID it. OK. Switch it on. OK. Switch dashboard off. OK. Task completed successfully. And that's it. That's all you have to do for right now. Now what we're gonna do is disconnect the handheld and go back to our computer. Now that we're back to the computer again, what we're gonna do is connect that USB port again back to the bottom. You can see the screen light up. That means it's communicating. And yeah, it'll go back to the work menu and then it'll say communication. So then let's go back to our PC. Now that you're back to your computer, what you're going to want to do is go to these options that have now highlighted or they're now available to you, which is upload to your MyGenius and download from MyGenius. So we're going to go ahead and download. We're going to say next or OK. That's where we want to put it on the desktop. I'm going to confirm. And this is going to download the MyGenius file that you just got from your bike. Now, your bike is still operational. You can still ride it. You can still run it. This basically just copies basic things about the ID of your bike. So it's going to it's going to turn into a basic file here, an FPF file. There it is right there at the top. And we're going to close this out because we don't need it anymore. Or I'm waiting for this to stop hourglassing. There we go. There it is. And there it is right there. And now we're going to go ahead and email that. So this is what your email is going to look like to Bren Tuning. You're going to email sales@brentuning.com. And you're gonna put your name with your order number and then just put the make and model of the bike there. And then of course, attach the file that you just downloaded from your motorcycle and from your MyGenius, attach it to this email, and then go ahead and send it off. So after you send off the email, you'll wait 24 to 48 hours, and those are working hours, meaning if you send this off on a Friday night, don't expect at least an answer till maybe Monday or Tuesday. Those are 24 to 48 working hours, okay? When you get your reply, what's going to happen here is you're going to get all these questions from them. Make sure you answer them to the best of your ability. If you have any questions, of course, ask them, but these are pretty straightforward. Year, make, model, map types, modification lists. These are all important to know to get a specific calibration for your motorcycle. So make sure you fill this out to the best of your ability and then send that back. After you send it back, we'll get a reply with the actual maps that we're going to load to MyGenius. So go ahead and reply, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, now that you have your email back from Bren Tuning, this is what it will look like. It'll have an attachment of the files. Now, depending on how many files you've gotten, race files and all kinds of stuff, you may have more than 2. There may be 3, there may be 4. Just go ahead and load these. I've loaded them to my desktop. You can put them anywhere you like, just as long as you know where they're at. So these are the 2 files right here. Now we're gonna exit this, and now we're gonna upload to the MyGenius. So of course, again, you're gonna have to connect your MyGenius to the computer and open this program back up again. So upload to MyGenius, and then we're gonna go next. We're gonna select the file, which is gonna be on our desktop. And this is gonna be one of the files right here, mod and mod. So mod 01 and 0. So let's mod, do the 01. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. You're just gonna load one at a time though. So we're gonna open that file up. It'll verify it. And this may take some time. Now we know it's in there. We're gonna go to the next. Yep, that's the one I selected. Confirm. Remember, when you're loading these, make sure it's only one at a time. Do not try to load multiple ones at one time. Just one at a time. And it will take a little bit of time to load this to the handheld. Just give it a little bit of time. Now that the procedure is completed successfully, we're going to click close. And initialize the communication again. And we're going to go through this process one more time to upload the other file. Okay, now that we're completed successfully, we're going to close. I'm going to let it go ahead and initialize the communication, let it at least the client come up, so I don't want to disconnect it while it's in the middle of trying to connect. So we'll wait for that to finish up, and as soon as it does, we'll exit out of this, pull the handheld out, and then go ahead and go to the motorcycle. Okay, now that we have the files loaded to the MyGenius, what we're going to do is connect it back to the motorcycle again, back to the port that we explained earlier, and we're going to go to Work, Writing, we're going to go to Modified, Factory File, or 91 with Airbox. This is the 91 file right here we're going to use. Yours may be named differently, but whatever your modified file is, that's what you're going to select. Let me get so you can see this. Okay. Yeah, it's going to ask you to connect to the battery, but your battery should be strong enough to go through this process. Switch dashboard on. Okay. Yep. Okay. I was going to say work is in progress now. So that means it's going to start to flash here. What it's doing right now is it's going to be writing the file into the motorcycle. So we'll just wait here while it does that. Dashboard off. Okay. Okay. Dashboard on. Okay. Now it's writing the file into the motorcycle. Now, while it's doing this, it will have some kind of error. It doesn't have to be this exact error, but whatever motorcycle you have, there may be check engine lights that go on and off. It may be freaking out. Just let it do its thing. It's still flashing. This is going to take a few minutes for it to actually complete. So, well, actually it's going pretty quick right now. So let me wait here. Sometimes it does take a few minutes for it to actually go in. This one seems to be kind of going fast. So it depends on what motorcycle you have. Okay, now we're switching it off. Click OK. Okay. On. Click OK. Dashboard off. Okay. There's complete. It's going to analyze the log, let it do its thing. That's it. Now we can disconnect the OBD2 port, and then fire the bike up and make sure it works. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. There we go. I got it. Okay, so now that's off, and this thing obviously doesn't plug in anything. It's just an empty holder there. Just plug right back in. Easy there. Now we can fire this thing up. Normal startup menu for the S1000RR. Fire up. That's it, and you can instantly hear that the actual exhaust valves are now open for the exhaust on the S1000R. It's a pretty big difference from stock. So now it's just time to ride it, and she's all done.